I guess when people start saying everything will be fine while the neighbor is sharpening his axe and looking at our fence, it's time to stop listening to the bedtime stories and start looking at the actual contract. Hey Canada, it's Earl. I'm seeing a lot of folks online commenting on my posts, saying that I am wrong, especially those still wearing the dark side goggles, claiming that because CUSMA is legally binding until 2036, we can just sit back and ignore the guy in the red hat. They say Trump is just rage baiting and that there is nothing he can actually do. I'm not here to pick a side or spread fear. I'm here to give you the nitty-gritty facts that you can check for yourself without the mainstream media filter. Because if you think a piece of paper in a drawer is going to stop a 100% tariff from hitting your wallet, you're in for a very rude awakening. Here are the facts about why the July 1st, 2026 review is a massive deal and why waiting it out is a dangerous game. On February 20th, 2026, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that Trump couldn't use emergency powers for global tariffs. But check the receipts. Trump immediately pivoted. He invoked Section 122 of the Trade Act of 1974. This allows the U.S. president to slap a 15% surcharge on all imports for 150 days to deal with balance of payments issues. While CUSMA-compliant goods are currently exempt, that exemption is a choice, not a permanent shield. If the U.S. decides Canada isn't playing ball on dairy or digital taxes, that exemption can vanish with a pen stroke. The security backdoor, Section 232. This is the one the everything is fine crowd ignores. The U.S. has Section 232, national security tariffs. There is no CUSMA exemption for Section 232. Trump has already used this on Canadian steel and aluminum, and as of April 18, 2026, those 50% tariffs are still in effect and inflicting real damage on Canadian workers. The U.S. is currently investigating pharmaceuticals, critical minerals, and autos under this same security banner. If they decide our online harms laws or our border security are a threat, they can bypass CUSMA entirely. So, yes, the deal technically runs until 2036, but the July 1st review is the trigger. If one country refuses to sign the 16-year extension this July, the deal doesn't just stay as it is. It enters a 10-year death spiral with mandatory annual reviews. No business is going to invest in a Canadian factory if they don't know if the trade deal will exist in 12 months. Uncertainty kills jobs faster than the actual tariffs do. We are already seeing Canadian GDP projected to be 1.5% lower because of this trade volatility. So, if we just wait for an adult to be in charge, here is what we are actually looking at. 100% tariffs on steel and lumber. These are already unbound by the courts, meaning CUSMA doesn't protect them if the U.S. claims unfair subsidies. Auto industry collapse. If the U.S. pulls the model-by-model exemption for car parts, our manufacturing heartland in Ontario stops beating overnight. The $14 billion hole, our trade balance has already plummeted. Without a seat at the table, Canada becomes the collateral damage in the U.S. trade war with China and Mexico. I'm not asking you to take my word for it. Go to the PwC Tax Insights or the Bank of Canada reports from this year. Look up the U.S. Trade Act of 1974. The mainstream media wants to tell you that the law will save us. But in the real world, the U.S. has a dozen legal ways to make Canada pay if we refuse to negotiate. Carney and the old guard think they can hide behind a treaty, but Trump plays by Queen's rules. If you aren't at the table, you're on the menu. Facts don't care about your political color. Thanks for watching. Stay awake.